Hello, my name's Bev and I'm the author of the book Please Eat, A Mother's Struggle to Free Her Teenage Son from Anorexia, which describes our family's battle with the deadly eating disorder, anorexia nervosa, which my teenage son Ben developed back in 2009 when he was just 15 years old. Just a warning that some people may find this video triggering and upsetting. This post is from the 27th of December 2011 and it looks back on Christmas. Christmas had been two days before, of course, and this is how it goes. I was tempted to write about what a wonderful Christmas we've had compared to the last couple of years. Okay, it wasn't perfect and the ripples of the eating disorder were still there, but I could have gone down the happy and thankful route. Then I read a dear friend's latest blog entry and was prompted to write something completely different. Yes, we are enormously fortunate in that our son is almost recovered. Yes, we are hugely lucky that Christmas Eve and Christmas Day were fun. Yes, I loved seeing my son tuck into his Christmas dinner, Christmas pudding, Christmas cake, chocolate log cake, chocolates and umpteen other things he wouldn't have touched with a barge pole a couple of years back. But the stark truth is that while our children recover, there are others right now that are descending into anorexia at an alarming and dangerous pace. And who knows how long it will take them to come out the other side, if at all. Last Christmas, I was reading desperate posts from a mother on the Around the Dinner Table forum as she helplessly watched her daughter disappear down the rabbit hole. By February, I think it was, that girl had lost her fight against the eating disorder. This Christmas, I read my friend's blog about another desperate mother who is being told that her daughter can't be medically assessed for anorexia until January. Yet as long as she continues to eat her 600-ish calorie intake a day and drink water, she should be okay for the next 10 days. So while we mums are enjoying our first eating disorder-free Christmases, there are others out there that are helplessly watching their children disappear in front of their eyes. And it is this terrible merry-go-round that will go on and on and on until eating disorders are taken as seriously as any other potentially fatal illnesses. And that's the end of that post. And I'll just move on to the post that follows this from the 29th of December 2011. And it's actually the last post of 2011. And it's called Such a Big Topic, I Hardly Know Where to Start. Although a dear friend of mine succeeded admirably in her latest blog, we eating disorder connected friends across the world are starkly aware that young people are dying from eating disorders. My blogging friend has learned of 4 deaths in the past 6 weeks alone, and one of these was tragically on Christmas Day. It seems that in so many cases, eating disorders aren't being taken as seriously as they should be. Young people are being put on ridiculously long waiting lists, while others are being refused instant hospital admission because it's the wrong time of year, for example Christmas, or they're not deemed to be sick enough, or their BMI isn't low enough to warrant admission. And some of these young people are very ill indeed. Young people are suffering and even dying when medical professionals should be pushing them towards recovery, not pushing them away from the treatments they so desperately need. Other young people's eating disorders are being needlessly prolonged because medical professionals are waiting for them to want to recover, colluding with the eating disorder, or simply being too soft. As I said in response to the above blog post, like you, we were put on a ridiculously long waiting list for treatment, and all I could do during this time was to helplessly watch my son deteriorate rapidly, which he did. It took an emergency admission to our local cardiac unit with a pulse rate of 29 beats per minute for me to finally persuade CAMHS to see us a few weeks sooner than the original appointment. Just as bad, our GP didn't take us too seriously. Skinny boys with fatty eating habits aren't unusual after all. It was some time before we managed to get a referral to CAMHS. Thankfully, as you know, we have virtually emerged out the other side of this long, dark eating disorder tunnel. But had my son's heart not picked up after that emergency admission, and had CAMHS not seen us sooner than originally planned, then who knows what the outcome might have been. These teenagers should be fast-tracked into treatment in the same way they would be as if they had any potentially fatal illness. I am guessing that if our GP had suspected something like cancer, we would have been jetted off to hospital within days. And that's the end of that post, and that was actually the final post for 2011. And there's been stuff in the news recently now in early 2023 about eating disorders and about waiting lists, and sometimes it just seems as if nothing's changed. I mean, we were having these problems, and I was writing about this back in 2011, which is 12 years ago now. And yet these problems are still here with us. Young people are not getting seen as quickly as they should be seen. They're not getting diagnosed, and they're not getting treated quickly. And I think it is still the case, as we were to find in the months at the beginning of 2012, which I'll be reading next. There was the problem of, if a young person has not recovered from their eating disorder by the time they reach the age of 18, they're spat out of the system, they're spat out of CAMHS, and they either have to go into adult treatment and almost start all over again with a new treatment model, a new treatment team, and complete strangers, a whole learning curve, and that shouldn't be the case. It should be the same people who have built a relationship with this young person throughout their eating disorder that should continue treating them until they do recover from this eating disorder, whatever age that might be. I know it's not too long ago I was looking through the BEAT website. BEAT is the top UK charity for eating disorders in young people, and there was quite a few posts from young people who were about to reach the age of 18 and were really desperately worried about what was going to happen when they were discharged. They felt safe with the treatment team they got, who had been working hard with them throughout their eating disorder, and now they were going to be spat out of the system, and they were really worried about where they were going, and young people could really do without that additional worry, that stress, that anxiety. So anyway, it is a real shame that it sometimes looks as if very little has changed over the last 10 years or so with regards to eating disorder treatment and eating disorder treatment waiting lists here in the UK. But Anyway, on that negative note, I will sign off now at the end of December 2011, and my next blog post will be from 2012, the year that Ben got discharged from CAMHS because he'd reached the age of 18, and the year we were thinking about university, which would start in the September. And my blog posts will take you through that and right up to that week in September when Ben left to go to university. So thank you for listening. You'll find a link below to my blog, and you'll also find a link to my website where you can download free PDFs of my blog, and also a link to Amazon where you can buy a copy of my book.